These are the SeaBell ceramic scissors, and they've been on the market for a little while, but they've now been upgraded with a new feature, and that is this locking device. And when this locking device is in the locked position, the jaws cannot open, and that also makes it easier to store them. Now these weigh 330 grams, and you can create angled or curved cuts with them in predominantly ceramic, stone or porcelain up to 8 millimeters thick. Now they will also cut stained glass, but be aware that with some stained glass you may get it splintering or crushing because stained glass is manufactured very differently. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be working a lot in stained glass, then you're better off purchasing the SeaBell double-wheeled glass nippers. Now these are very comfortable to use, and what I thought I would do is I would cut up a plate and some other items and see how they work, just to give you a bit of a demonstration. Now before I get into cutting the plates, I just want to show you the jaws on these scissors. Now I'll put them close together so you can get a better look at them. Now they're curved, each side is curved. Now when we're putting a plate into this, we want to put the plate halfway. And the reason being is that this is the closest area where these nippers come in contact without actually touching each other. If we put the plate at the back here, then it's going to require a lot more effort on our part to actually break the plate. So putting them in halfway is going to give you the best position for less force on your hands to actually break the plate. So I just thought I'd point that out because I consider that to be important. So I've got a couple of different plates here. They're broken plates. I'm going to cut this one first, and this is an antique plate. So I'm going to put the actual plate halfway into the jaws. You can wear gloves when you do this. It's probably advisable if you haven't had experience with the plates because they can be quite sharp once you break them. So I'm going to put it in halfway and just break it. And that broke beautifully. This is an antique plate, so it's going to be fairly easy to break it, but that gives you an idea on how to do it. Now, the nippers do curve, so some people will probably prefer to use them this way, and other people would prefer to use them this way. When I'm using these, I like to have this area towards me because I can see exactly what area to nip. Whereas this way, because the blades angle, I can't see exactly where the cut is going to be, where I need to place the blades. So I find using it this way suits me a lot better, but it is personal preference. So if I'm cutting this out, it's pretty easy. There you go. And of course you can keep cutting these if you want to. But I find these really a gem to use. As you can see here, this plate here was all raggedy cutting across there, but that's the nature of the plate. It has crazing in it. This plate is not as old, far from it. So I expect this to cut better. But again, how well the nippers work is dependent on the plates. A lot has to do with the plates or whatever you're cutting. Like tiles. Some plates will cut better, some tiles will cut better, some tiles won't cut as well, and neither will plates. So it really is dependent on the plate itself. There you go. But see how easy I can see by looking on this side? Because that's where it's going to cut. But they are really quite good to use. So anyway, you can spend more time, but that's just giving you a bit of a demonstration. Now, we'll also cut some glass here. This is just stained glass, and I'm going to... Now, when you're cutting this, it cuts it, but you're also getting lots of little shards as well, because it's not totally a clean cut, because it depends on the glass you're cutting, as I said earlier. But it does do a really nice job when it comes to shaping. Now, if I'm working a lot with stained glass, then I would certainly want to purchase the SeaBell double-wheeled glass nippers because they have been designed for glass. But as you can see, these work pretty good for glass. Here's some iridized glass. Now, sometimes iridized can be a little hit and miss, but these are doing a beautiful job. Again, you're getting little shards and some big shards because your little ones there you go. Now we'll just cut some stained glass, put it in halfway, and see, cuts it beautifully. Again, if you're going to be cutting a bit of this, then you would really, in a straight line, you'd really want to score and break it. But they are really very good to use. And to be honest, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it why I enjoy using them. I just do. Maybe it's because I can nip it, because it just works differently to other tools. But they are really quite a good tool to use. Make sure you have your bucket close by so you can cut into. But they do a really nice job. Let's have a look at the ceramic tiles. These are the Johnson tiles, and those people in Australia would be well aware of how difficult these can be cutting and shaping. For people overseas, these are quite hard tile, not as hard as porcelain, but they're still quite difficult to cut with some nippers. So put it halfway in, hold it, cuts it well. Not a huge amount of force needed. Now let's shape one of these and see how they go. When you've got little bits, jagged bits like that, just put it on the edge there and just cut it off. I really enjoyed using the SeaBell ceramic scissors. I was really surprised at how well they cut and shape tiles, crockery, and also glass. I think they're a really good tool to use, and I enjoyed using them.